Welcome to the Nature Center. Yay, my humble little Nature Center. I have several more kinds of mushrooms that are all happening at this exact moment. It's been an amazing run since about July 8th or 9th. We had 6 weeks of dry weather before that. We were in a moderate drought, and then all of a sudden the heavens opened up and everybody was like, "What? It's raining." But then 3 weeks later, we got one of my favorite mushrooms of all time. This one is called the Indigo Milky Cap. So named because, first off, it kind of crunches, but that's not why it's milky. But if you look carefully, I think we can see it has juice. Now, when you're a little kid, you're told, don't touch the mushrooms because they may be poisonous. Do not touch the mush. Definitely do not eat the mushrooms. In fact, don't touch them because you don't know if it's poisonous, and if you get any on your hands, you know, you're a little kid, you might like lick your hands or eat an apple or who knows what, stick your hand somewhere it doesn't belong, and then the next thing you know, you could get really sick from something like this. If it has this shape and it's a mushroom, beware. Let's get a little closer. Ah, there we go. This is called the Citron Amanita, which is a very, very close cousin of the destroying angel. This is the type of mushroom that you are warned against when you're a kid. Do not touch this mushroom, and definitely do not eat this mushroom, because if you were to eat this mushroom, in about 80 hours, it would cause liver failure, kidney failure, and it would dissolve part of your intestinal tract, and you would be history. So you gotta really watch out for these, but they are kind of cool in their own way, and they definitely serve a function out there. It's hard to know why they're so poisonous to human beings. You'll notice that the cap is in really good shape, even though it's kind of an older specimen, which is to say it hasn't been eaten by slugs or insects. And that kind of gives you a clue that, you know, it might be poisonous. Just to remember that the amanitas contain the most dangerous poisonous versions of mushrooms, most dangerous poisonous mushrooms out there. And you can tell what they are when they have a really long, slender stalk in relationship to the cap, a skirt like that, flared out, and a bulbous base that's like a foot or a boot or a sack or something kind of big at the base of it, which is kind of why when you're identifying mushrooms, it's really important to get the whole thing and have the right book to do it. Now, just touching this, as long as I don't put this in my mouth, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna wash my hands, count, sing happy birthday, and then call it good, and then I can go do everything I normally do, including eat finger food safely. Speaking of finger food, these are very mature honey mushrooms. Not because they taste like honey, but because they kind of look like the color of honey. And they grow specifically off of wood, and they also grow in the fall. You'll never see them earlier than the very tail end of August at the earliest, usually September into October. And a lot of people like to come here at Little River State Park foraging for edible mushrooms, especially these guys. Now, I'm showing you what they look like, but that doesn't mean you're an expert at what these look like. Don't just think that because I'm showing you these, that you can go out and be like, oh yeah, that looks like a honey mushroom. I saw this guy tell me so. It's really important that you make sure whatever you pick and eat, you are 101% positive of your identification. And if you're not, there's always another day to find out about that. So you can come to one of the Mushrooms Demystified programs. They will be here again next year in 2022. And there are other people out there. Just you gotta find the places where people can show you what these things are. The best way to learn is from another person when it comes to mushrooms. One last one I'm gonna show you, everybody likes, are the puffballs. And so this puffball is as different from this rusula, which is a gilled mushroom, as birds are different from mammals. And that's how you kind of can tell the main groups of mushrooms apart. There are mushrooms that look like this, that are puffballs. There are mushrooms that have gills. Some mushrooms have pores. Some mushrooms are only attached to trees. Some mushrooms are really slimy and gross. Sometimes they look like coral. And those are all different major groupings of mushrooms. That's a whole nother segment. Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming to Little River State Park. One more look at the blue mushroom, because there was a couple that came in. They were here specifically to go look for mushrooms. And I showed them this one. They were like, oh my God, it's blue. Because you never really see too many blue things growing in the woods, right? So Thank you very much.